Hi, I wanted to share another part of some of the things I've gone through with having a loved one pass away. Um, my brother, before he passed away, he had dementia, and he was Down syndrome, so he developed it earlier than a lot of people would. Um, the last two visits I had with him, he he seemed indifferent toward me. Actually, he seemed angry that I was even in the room with him. In my whole life, he had never acted like that with me, and he was older than me, so um, I just I never had that with him, and I knew something was wrong in part of my mind, but in the other part of my mind, I felt rejected, and it hurt me. And as much as I was trying not to feel hurt, I did, and I really, I didn't know how to, get around that. I'd heard about people dealing with their loved ones having dementia and how hard it was to deal with. And here I was, one of those people. It's easy to hear about it, and it's easy to, suggest to somebody what to do about it. It's different to walk through it. And so for me, um, I still sat there with him, and I still kind of tried to ride through it. And then the day came and he passed away. And I was terribly grieved over his death because I was one of his caretakers, and my motherly instincts were coming into play with him, as well as him being my brother. So I had two different levels of grieving, I guess, in a sense. But I also felt like, here my brother is, he didn't like me before he left. And I went to the Lord, and I kept saying, my brother didn't like me when he passed. And I would cry, and I was terribly hurt. And I thought, I don't know how to get that solved. I don't know how to convince my mind that that's not how he really was toward me. It was, something was wrong. And I felt like I heard, it's like I heard my brother coming to me and saying, I would never treat you like that. My body wasn't working right. I would never treat my sister like that. And when I felt like I heard that, because I felt like the Lord allowed me to hear that from him, it really settled everything. It just kind of closed it up. So I just want to encourage you that if you have a loved one that things weren't working right in their mind and all that before they passed, but prior to that they were, you had a good relationship with them. And I know how much that can hurt. You lose them, and then you've also, in a sense, when they have dementia, you're already losing them in a sense. It's like they become a different person. And it's really hard to process it in our mind. I just want to encourage you that when they're in that state, that's not how they mean to behave. I mean, I even went through that with a little bit with my sister. She just recently passed, and there were times that I could be having a normal conversation with her, and all of a sudden she would get mad and tell me to stop yelling at her. And I would just be sitting there thinking, what are you talking about? I wasn't yelling at all. I wasn't even upset, And she would tell me, you were yelling. And she would just go off on me, and it was kind of unsettling, because initially I didn't know what's going on with her. Why is she acting like that? And but in a normal state of mind, she wouldn't have been like that with me. It's really hard to wrap your head around. But I just want to encourage you that if your loved one didn't act right in the end, it's because her body wasn't working right. That's not how they really were. Especially if they were always kind to you prior to that. Then just reflect on that. They would never mistreat you. if they were treating you good all their life, they would never suddenly want to mistreat you any more than you would them. So just be encouraged in that sometimes people's bodies and minds toward the end of their life just doesn't work right. And it's hard to understand it. It's hard to maneuver through. And know that they still loved you even to the end. I just want to encourage you with that.